What is up, y'all? It's your girl Nick Robinson back with the Hour Effect, and today we're going to get into this whole Cassie Ventura testifying in the case against Diddy. This is something that is really hard for me to talk about. That's why I haven't really talked about it that much, because she details some horrific things going on. She details definitely domestic violence in her relationship with Diddy, and we could clearly see in the 2016 video that was taken at the hotel what some of that entailed as far as his abuse. And I just want to talk about that real quick because some people don't understand how somebody can be in a relationship with somebody and then, stay long term in a dynamic that is not desirable, in a dynamic that she says she did not want to be in a situation that she did not feel safe in a situation where she, was made to do all of these things. Some of us do understand that. As a domestic violence abuse survivor myself, kind of trying to give some perspective on the mindset. As we recall, Cassie was saying she met Diddy when she was like 19. At 19, if you remember being 19, if you are 19, you are so new to making your own decisions. You're so new to being able to do whatever it is you want to do uninformed. You think you know everything. You think because you've graduated high school, you're embarking upon a career, or you're in college, or whatever the case may be, wherever you are in your life, you think you know it all for some reason. You think that graduating high school is the finish line, when really the test, life, and everything is just beginning. She had this amazing opportunity to be in the music game, and she was picked up by this man, Sean Combs. And I'm pretty sure, like with artists before her, he made it sound a certain kind of way. He made it look a certain kind of way. Talked about all the opportunities, talked about all the things that he could get her, all the doors he could bring her through, all of those things. What's common in abusive relationships is this: they don't start off that way. They never do. It starts off with a period of wooing. It starts off with a period of, feeling safe and feeling like you can trust this person and like they have your best interest at heart with everything they do. Even when something doesn't quite feel right or seem right, they are master manipulators, and they're able to trick you into believing, whatever they want you to believe, especially when you're so young. Diddy was in a position where he had power and influence by this time. Of course, he had been in the game for many years. A lot of his artists were successful and all of that. You got to understand, too, back then, when they were first, getting together and working, social media was not a prevalent thing. There was not a lot of ways for people to see and get a glimpse on the inside of what's going on. Today, whenever something happens, it's almost immediately reported, and people know about it. People are talking about it. People feel more empowered than ever to just speak out about things. But back then, it wasn't the case. We all knew by the point that Cassie came along that there was rumblings and rumors about Diddy and how he did his artists. But when you are in the room and you are being told these different things, whatever he told her to get her to agree to go into business with him and then personal relationship with him, she felt like she could do that. She felt like she should do that. She felt like it was in her best interest to do that. And at the age of 19 years old, that is when she began, her dealings with him, from what we know and understand. As time went on, I'm pretty sure, things happened that she didn't necessarily agree with, that she didn't necessarily want to do. But then that's where you see, especially in the video, you can see the posturing, you can see the demeanor, you can see the threat of what she knows he's capable of in that video. I was watching the video, and a lot of people in the comments were saying, why didn't she take the stairs? The stairs could have been used to weaponize against her, quite honestly. That's scary. And being a person that was in a situation where I was abused, the fear, it immobilizes you. It can literally, you can literally be in a situation where there's a door right there, and you won't walk through it if you're scared enough not to piss this person off. Because as you can see, he got down that hallway so fast after her. He got down the hallway so quick. It was in a flash. And the video that I saw, it actually had the timestamp of the time frame that everything happened in. And he got down there so fast. I was like, oh my God, before she even knew it, he was around that corner on her. And he dragged her effortlessly because he's much bigger than her. He's much stronger than her. And that's the thing that people have to understand. He was very powerful. You know, the person that I was in my domestic violence situation with, he had no power. He had no influence. He had no money. But the dynamic is just so overwhelming. And you feel like there's no way out. When it gets to this point that we see that she got to, she most likely was very isolated from everybody, including her family, because that's what I experienced as well. Whether it's by making you feel like they're the only person that truly has your back, or, you know, whatever tactic he used to corner her. As you can see, she just was trapped. You know, you have somebody, you know, that has all this money and power and influence that can pay people. Because look at how long it took for this video to even come about. Look at how long. I mean, because when they were talking about Diddy and Cassie's relationship, when it first started buzzing, when she was still with him, that video could have been released back then. It was not. Whoever decided to leak it, whoever decided to release it, or whatever the case may be, whether the feds made them release it or whatever, I don't know. But that's what I'm saying. You have a man who definitely is powerful and influential, and then people just don't want to believe that somebody that's of that stature would do something like that. Because why would he need to do that? He's Sean Combs, he's Puff Daddy, he's Diddy, he's whatever, you know what I mean, in the music game. Why would he need to do that to any woman? Okay. But what people have to understand is that there's sick-minded people, no matter what stature they are in life. He clearly did it because he wanted to, and he could, you know. And then I just remember, because I can sympathize with this too, you know, when it comes to the situation with her and Kid Cudi and that whole dynamic. You know, her and Diddy were on a break, and she and Kid Cudi started dating, and he threatened him and everything like that, which caused her to end the relationship. That's allegedly what happened. And he made mention of, you know, using something to torch his vehicle, which ended up happening, by the way. I mean, you know, when someone says, I'm going to do this, and then it happens, it's only understood that that's what they made good on doing, right? So, and Kid Cudi's team did come out and say that that absolutely happened, that, you know, they were, you know, starting a relationship, you know, and he made threats. And Cassie, in her attempt to try to protect him, as in Kid Cudi, from going through anything and, you know, him being hurt, she ended the relationship. But it still wasn't enough. The fact that it even occurred is what pissed him off. And that's the result, allegedly, of the vehicle being torched. When you are in a situation like that, all kinds of things can happen, especially when you have somebody covering for you, like he did. I mean, people who were around, they knew what was happening. They might not have seen anything. Like I recall Gene Deal, his old bodyguard, well, that was his bodyguard back when Big was alive and all of that, and when Kim and him were together. He was saying that he never saw anything happen, but he saw the aftermath of it. He saw the injuries, or he saw, you know, the bruises, or, you know, he would, you know, go to the hospital afterwards, stuff like that. So people had an idea of what was going on, and nobody reported it. Nobody reported it. Why? Because they probably were afraid of his wrath being focused on them. Is it an excuse? Not at all. Should it have happened that way? Absolutely not. But just giving a little clarity and context as to what the dynamic is with these types of situations. Cassie said she did a lot of things that I can't even talk about in that situation with him. A lot of sexual perversion, if you will. And let me say this, a lot of times when it's a domestic violence situation, it's not just the physical beating, it's also the sexual type of abuse that occurs. And it's something that a lot of people don't like to talk about. It's very hard to talk about because when you talk about things, it replays in your mind and it refreshes the experience for you. My experience that I had with domestic violence happened years ago. Again, I was 19 years old. And to this day, I still can't see certain things. I still can't watch certain things. And I still can't, certain things trigger me still. And that's something that I have, once I get serious in relationships since then, have to explain to my partners the things that trigger me. And it can be simple things that people wouldn't think about. But, it matters because when you have been in that situation, it triggers you and you go right back to that moment in space and time. So my heart goes out to Cassie for even having to talk about this stuff because I know that it's hurtful and it's harmful to her mental and her emotional state. She's also pregnant, very pregnant right now. And so that also lends to the situation and circumstances surrounding her and having to even talk about this stuff. And I don't care how long it's been. I don't care that it was, so long ago that it happened. It doesn't matter because when you have an event trigger you, when you have to talk about it, especially in the detail that she's having to talk about it, it's going to do something to you emotionally and mentally. And I'm just hoping that her family and friends can rally around her as she journeys through this because she's now, had testimony that she's had to present and being questioned by prosecution. She now has to be cross-examined by the defense. And of course, they're going to come at her hard because they're going to try to disprove any of the trafficking because they're saying that the defense strategy is to not dispute any of the domestic violence because it's obvious that, based just on that one tape, there was domestic violence in the situation. They're trying to separate the trafficking. Okay. And a lot of people are asking, how is the domestic violence and trafficking intertwined? Well, when you look at the legal definition of sex trafficking, it can lend to the experiences that Cassie has shared in that, she was forced to do things sexually that she didn't want to. Imagine you have this boyfriend who is saying he's going to make your dreams come true. He has the power and the means to do so, but then he uses that power and means to make you do things that you don't want to do, intimidate you, scare you, keep you, on a short leash. When you try to leave, he reacts the way we saw him react in that video, and everybody around him is kind of protecting him because that's their job. Imagine that. And then imagine this same boyfriend, not only does he beat you, sexually assault you, but then he also gets you addicted to drugs. And everybody knows that when you are in a drug-induced state, your mind ain't working right. You know what I mean? So add the fear, the anxiety, all of those feelings mixed in with drug use, alcohol, and it's just a mess. I mean, the things that she was made to do is horrific. And when you're in an abusive situation, I just remember feeling like I don't want to even be here, but I don't know how to get out. I don't want to do this, whether it's go to dinner. I don't care if it was as simple as going to a movie. I ain't want to do it. Because after someone has treated you so badly, why would you want to be with them? Why would you want to? And a lot of people say, just leave, just leave. And I understand that people who've never been in a situation before, I understand that they don't get why just leaving isn't even an option sometimes. Especially when someone who is abusive to you to that level, They already know everywhere you would go. They know where your family is. They know where your friends are. They know everything about you because they've taken time to, again, assess you and understand how you move. Because once again, the abuse doesn't start day one. It takes time. I know for me, in my situation, 6 months. In 6 months of time with somebody, of course, if you're dating them, and remember, you kept on a short leash. You don't even realize. You think this person just want to be with you all the time. You think this person just want to love you. You think this person just can't get enough of you, right? No, they assessing you. Okay. In 6 months of time, this person knew where I worked, where I lived, where my family lived, where my friends are, who they are, everywhere I could go and be. He knew where they were. And what you don't want to do when you're in that situation, you don't want to bring your drama to your friends and family. I didn't even tell my friends and family what was going on. I didn't. The entire time, I did not tell them what was going on. And so I can understand why things happened the way they did. She didn't want to do those things. She didn't. I believe that. And it's sad that, it's come to this. A lot of people are asking, what took her so long. Truth be told, I've never pressed any charges against the person who abused me. I've never legally gone after this person at all for anything that happened. Um, I've never even thought of doing it. I don't even know if, because it's been so long, can I do it? I don't know. Because it just opens up a whole different set of circumstances for you when you do that. Unfortunately, there are times where people don't believe the story. It can be as true as can be, and people criticize. People don't believe, and this is with regular men. When I say regular, I mean someone who hasn't, doesn't have fame, influence, and wealth, right? But this person, I mean, he's just a larger than life figure, right? And they finally are delving into what occurred with this man and this woman. And again, my heart just goes out to her. I hope that once this is over, she can get the support, she can get the counseling, whatever it is she needs. And then I'm thinking about, her being pregnant with this baby. When you're pregnant, whatever you're feeling, your baby feels, So it's just so many levels to this. And, of course, we're going to keep watching. And I'm interested to see what the defense strategy is with her on the stand. I think it's intricate because as the defense attorney, you have this pregnant woman on the stand crying. You don't want to be a monster because that personifies how he was with her, right? So it's going to be interesting to see the approach that they take. Of course, they're not letting cameras into the courtroom because it's a federal case. And whoever is in the courtroom, of course, they're reporting everything. And so we're hearing it, secondhand or whatever. But I'm interested to see what approach the defense takes as they walk through their questions for her. And just her reliving her experience and recounting what happened made her cry, which is absolutely expected. I mean, who can talk about the things that she was talking about and not have some sort of emotion attached to it? It makes sense. So as we stay tuned to this, case proceeding and everything, I'm interested to see how the prosecution ties the domestic violence to the racketeering and the trafficking and how it all is interwoven. Do I believe it's all interwoven? Yeah, it's believable. But it's not about what you believe, it's about what you can prove. So the state, as in, the feds, they have the burden of proof to link it all together. And it starts with firsthand account from Cassie and her experience. And they're trying to show a pattern of behavior from Sean Combs. That's the whole purpose of getting a firsthand witness account from Cassie as to what she experienced, what she saw, what he did, because it just goes into all the rest of it. It opens the door to the rest of it. A lot of people are thinking he's going to get off, because of his power and influence. Somebody said something about the president pardoning him if he does get convicted. I don't know. We're just trying to work through all the minutia of it all and figure out what's fact and what's fiction. I'm going to be carefully reporting on this situation because I don't like fueling rumors. I don't like, especially when it comes to a situation like this, I don't like um, exaggerating things. I want to try to be as accurate as I can with whatever is being said. I'm watching news reports and trying to decipher between what they're reporting and then reading articles and things like that. So, but you guys tell me what you think. To all the domestic abuse survivors out there, it's all love. I'm glad that I survived my situation. I'm glad for anybody else out there that survived theirs because it is truly, truly a circumstance that people lose their lives in every day. It's somebody losing their lives to a domestic violence situation, and it's very serious, and it's very, very hurtful to hear anybody who's been in a domestic violence situation. Men go through domestic violence as well. They don't report it. Like, it's so many women out here that don't report it, but it's even more men that don't report it because it's not taken seriously enough, period, especially when it's coming from a man. So it's very important that you stay in touch with your family. Like, if you have a family member and they are exhibiting behavior or signs of being in a domestic violence situation, try to help them. Excuse me. Try to help them. Try to get them help. Be careful because the most dangerous time when trying to leave a domestic violence situation is the most dangerous time because that person feels threatened. That person feels rejected. They feel whatever it is they're feeling that makes them act that way, and they exhibit it through the behaviors of trying to keep them from leaving, as we saw in that video with Puff and Cassie. So you guys be safe out there. We're going to be watching and talking about this more. But y'all know how it is. Please like, comment, subscribe, share, all the good things. I really appreciate each and every last one of you, and I will talk to you later. Bye-bye.